Hi, everybody, and welcome to VCTV Sports. My name is Jim Evans. We're calling this segment Inside Jag Football, and who better to talk about that subject than VC's accomplished head coach, Rob Gilster. Coach Gilster has quite a resume that includes 5 CIF championships at VC. He's also done a splendid job of bringing along his 2015 team and getting them to peak at just the right time. Coach is in studio with us today, and we look forward to talking with him about the regular season just passed, as well as the huge upcoming quarterfinal matchup with Morse High this Friday night on the Jags home turf. We're also pleased to have with us one of his true standouts, star running back / linebacker Jake Newman. Jake has had a big year, gaining over 1,000 yards on the ground and scoring 11 touchdowns. He's a most interesting young man, and we're glad to be able to get a player's perspective about this team and its playoff chances. So let's get things started and bring in Coach Gilster. Coach, well, thank you very much for taking the time to stop by. Always a pleasure to see you. Let's get started. Can you kind of give us just an overview of the 2015 regular season, what your expectations were coming in, and also how things played out?
Yeah. At the beginning of every season, our goal is to win every game. That's just always our mindset. So the schedule, kind of set up to where we could compete every week. And really, we're 7-3 right now. We had a chance to win those 3 games we lost. I think over the last 4 or 5 games, we've kind of learned how to win and how to kind of build on what we started at the beginning of the season. If we play those 3 teams now that we lost to, I think the outcome would be a lot different. So, going into the season, the goal was to be 10-0 always. We, came up a little bit short. I think all of those games we lost, we were there in the fourth quarter. So, and then just where we're at now, just like I said, I think we could win those games, and we're playing our best football now. And that's what we always want to do. We always want to play our best football at the end of the season. And we've kind of built our team and improved and eliminated mistakes and moved players around, and we've just gotten better week in and week out.
Well, let me ask you, by virtue of the fact that you guys played really well down the stretch, winning 6 of your last 7, also your last 4 games, you got a number 3 seed, and that entitled you to a bye week. Now, a lot of coaches, with their team playing as well as yours has been, wouldn't necessarily want a bye week. They would want to continue on and not disrupt the momentum that you have. What was your mindset about the bye week? Is it a good thing, a bad thing, or it really doesn't make any difference?
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. Bye weeks, it's kind of a reward for those teams who have done well. So that's the way you have to look at it. So it's kind of a tough deal because you're in a routine. So after 10 weeks, all of a sudden they give you a week off. And it's like, okay, what do I do now? So you got to keep the guys kind of fresh. You got to keep them hungry, but you also give them a chance to rest a little bit and catch your breath. So I always like the bye week. The bye week means you've had a pretty good year. So now it's how you come off of that bye week. So we'll see Friday night if I like the bye week or not. Yeah.
Well, the one thing that's really struck me this year is the fact that you've got a high-powered offense. And I was wondering if you could just kind of break down the offense from the quarterback position with Rhett Riley, the outstanding running backs, Jake Newman and Andrew Navarro, and then also wide receiver Nico Hernandez, who's a home run threat, Brock Moffitt, very effective out of that H-back position, and then a very good offensive line. Could you just tell me a little bit about where you think the offense is at and what you expect from them going forward?
Yeah, offensively, we've been in this offensive system probably for about 15, 16 years. And previously before that, we've done this offense when I was at Orange Glen. So we know the offense very well. And for our offense to do well, we have to start with the offensive line. And we're a zone blocking team, and we like to throw the ball. So that takes a while to kind of gel as an offensive line. And our guys have done a great job. We have Jake Glennie, Brandon Hebron, Ricky Mendoza, and then Cameron Bellers and Gabe Baez, and then Stephen Much at tight end. And those guys, when you zone block, it just takes repetition because you always work with a partner. The concept is to start with 2 guys on one and then work to the second level. And that just takes time. So I'm really pleased with that, our progress there. And again, it just takes some time to really get good at it. And I think we've done that. And then, when you have a good offensive line and, if you have a running back, and we always feel like it starts with our offensive line, and any running back can run behind our offensive line, but can the running back take that 5 to 10 yard gain and make it a home run? And that's what Jake is able to do. Jake, with his speed, and he's got some pretty good quick moves. He can get in the open, and then he can make a 10-yard run, a touchdown.
Absolutely.
So, and then Andrew's a kind of a in between the tackles runner. He's not the fastest guy on our team, but he is a really hard-nosed runner. So, he fits in well to what we do also. And then if you're running the ball well, the passing game opens up. And, Rhett's been throwing the ball well. I think he only has 2 interceptions over the course of the year. Yeah, which is a great ratio. He's done a really good job of leading our team and taking care of the football as far as throwing it. And then Nico, Brock Moffitt, Stephen Much, Gabe DePaulo, those guys are all really good receivers. And they've caught the ball for the most part when it's been thrown to them, and that's one of the things, when you throw the ball, most of the things that are going to happen are bad. There's only one good thing, and that's completion, So when we throw it, we obviously want to catch it, and those guys are really good. And obviously Nico's explosive. We get a lot of big plays from Nico. He's done an excellent job as far as perfecting his craft as far as running routes and setting routes up. So, it's really nice to have weapons. It's tough being an offensive coach when you don't have weapons. As you try and manufacture points, and with this group of guys and this offensive line, the points have been a lot easier than maybe in past years.
Right. Well, they've been certainly dynamic throughout the year. Let's talk a little bit about the defense. I think the defense is really kind of coming together, gelling, coalescing. A very good front seven, in my estimation. The down linemen, people like Elijah McClure, Christian Patstone, and Manny Perez have done a great job. Linebackers, in addition to Jake, he's done a good job. And, of course, Moffitt stands out there. Daniel Belcher's done a good job. And then I think the important thing has been that secondary is really improving.
Yep.
And John Cabrera, particularly, very good on run support, and also his coverage skills have really developed as the season's moved on. So where is the defense at, and how confident are you in the defense moving into this important playoff game?
Yeah, our defense, if I could compare them, it's a lot like zone blocking. Our defense is, we run it off Tampa Bay when Tampa Bay went to the Super Bowl when they had Warren Sapp and Lynch and those guys. Monty Kiffin was the defense coordinator, and it's basically our defense is that defense. And there's a lot of moving parts in our defense. We move a lot, and we do things where people have got to show up at the right place at the right time, and it takes time to learn that, and it's a repetition thing too. So the longer we play as a football team, the better we get. Coach Cowell, our defensive coordinator, is a stickler for discipline and doing things right. So the more time he has with them, the better they get. So it kind of goes hand in hand with our zone blocking, with our offensive line. It just seems like, and Randy and I have coached together now for 16 years. The longer he gets with his kids, the better they get. So that's kind of been happening this year. We're playing a team this Friday that likes to run the ball first, and really our defense is really set up to stop the run. We've gotten better at defending the pass, and that's come along, but we're really good against the run. So I'm looking forward to a good battle against a good running team on Friday night.
And of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the special teams, and I think you're very strong there. Rod Rodriguez, very solid from 35 yards in as far as the field goal kicker is concerned, good on the PATs, and also has the capability of producing some touchbacks with his kickoffs. And also with Nico Hernandez as a punt returner and Julian Contreras as a kickoff returner, you have some weapons, and these guys could impact a playoff game.
Right. Yeah, no, Rod's done a great job. This is his first year playing football. We've had him in track and field, and he's always wanted to play football, but he's a cross-country guy too. So it kind of worked out really nice this year when we needed a kicker. He was able to step into that role. And then one thing about Rod is he just knows how to win. He knows how to get things done. So that's been great to have him with us. Obviously, our return game has been done a good job. We've when people kick it to us on a kickoff return, we usually get really good field position. Nico and Julian, they've done a great job. And then also our punter, Christian Patstone, has kind of fell into that role. And he's he plays defensive line, he plays running back, he plays offensive line. He does everything for us. And he's done a really good job punting. And we kind of stumbled onto him, because of an injury. But he's done a great job punting the ball for us too. So special teams is a tough deal because we're such a small school. All of our guys have got to do special teams.
Mm-hmm.
Our defensive linemen. So, we really emphasize to them that we can never take a play off, especially on special teams. So hopefully we'll work hard on Friday night because this team we're going to play is very athletic and we can't give them space, especially in special teams.
One thing that I'm curious about is, are the practices during a playoff week any more different than they would be during a regular season? Is the vibe different? Is there more of a sense of urgency? Is there any difference in your opinion?
Yeah. Well, the cool thing is we at Valley Center High School, we run our junior varsity and our varsity together. So half of our practice is offense, and then we flip it. Our staff flips it. And then let's say the varsity defensive coaches go with the JV defense. So you really only get an hour with your guys. In the playoffs, we bring some JV guys up and some freshman guys up. And now we just have one practice during the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So you can work while the defense is working. Coach Mendoza can take the offensive line and do some really specific things because now he has 2 hours with his guys and not just 1 hour. So that's kind of a different thing that we experience during playoffs is that we only have to coach one team, whereas during the season, all of the coaching staff is coaching two teams, our varsity and our junior varsity. As far as the feel of practices, obviously it's winter, put your gear away. So there's a heightened sense of urgency. So there's usually really good energy. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Playing at home, how much of an advantage is that? Basically, at this stage in the playoffs, you're generally going to be coming up against teams that are pretty comparable. Mm-hmm. But is it a decided advantage to have a home game at this stage?
Yeah, I think so. But we played really good on the road this year.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I think actually our record is better on the road. So it's always nice to play at home. Your band's there, your fans are there, the surroundings are very comfortable. You kind of know what to expect. But our guys have been really good, mm-hmm. And really adverse situations like going to West Hills and stepping on a blue field. It was just a weird deal. Yeah. So, to be at our place and kind of be at home, it's nice. But to be honest with you, these guys if we had to go down to Morris Friday night, we could beat them there also.
Right. They've been very effective on the road. Let's talk about your upcoming opponent, the Morris Tigers, out of the City League. Have you had an opportunity to take a look at them on film? Mm-hmm. And if you have, what do you expect from them? What will they bring to the table this Friday night?
Yeah, we got the bye. So as soon as we found out we were playing Morris Escondido, and we had just played Escondido, so we turned our attention to Morris, 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And we got some film on them. So we've been studying them for 2 weeks. And, they're very good. They're not complex. They're very basic, but they play very hard and they play very fast. So that will be the challenge for us is to be physical and be very tough-minded on Friday night. That's the one thing that I've seen, that's going to be required of us as you look at Morris. But no, we've had plenty of time to look at Morris. I probably could tell you more about Morris than anything right now. So.
Well, let me ask you this. You've had great success at VC. I believe you won 5 CIF championships there. Can you draw anything from the previous championship years that you can incorporate this season in the playoffs, pass something on to the team that you learned in previous years?
Yeah, I think it's always beneficial if you've had coaches that have coached there or players that have played. Our last championship was 2011, so we don't have any players now that have had that experience. But really, the kids every year they've got to want to do it. It's kind of nice to have the tradition, to have the banners, and know that's what the goal is always, and what your school has accomplished in the past. But every year, it's really on that coaching staff and that group of guys what they want to do. So, like I said, it's nice to have the tradition, but every team's got to establish their own tradition and choose to, kind of get on board with that mindset.
Mm-hmm. Now, the one thing that I've been around you a little bit, and one thing that you preach is kind of a mantra of yours is you want to build to a crescendo. You want to get progressively better as the season progresses, and you want to be playing your best football in late October and into November. Is this team doing that?
Yeah, and like I mentioned earlier, is our offense is we just get better, and our defense is getting better. And one of the biggest things we talk about is it's hard. It's hard to play 12, 13, 14 weeks and to keep your eye on the prize. There's so many distractions. You get tired, you get beat up. A lot of times it's that team that can stay hungry, throughout that week 11, 12, 13 that will win at this time of year. So that's one of the biggest things. We're just really trying to keep them focused and keep them centered on every day we get better. Every day we're getting better. So, let's stay hungry.
How much have you enjoyed coaching this group?
Oh, they're great. They're great. It's always hard this time of year because that it's coming to an end. Whether you're going to win out or, it's just that time of year. So it's been great. I mean, these guys have been so much fun to be around. They're all different kids. I mean, I on a Friday night, they probably wouldn't all end up at the same place. They all have different interests and they're wired differently, but they come together for a common goal to win football games, and they have fun doing it. And they're a lot of fun to coach. They're very coachable. We don't have discipline problems. We have a really good senior class that has accepted the challenge of leading. And so it's been fun. So I will miss this group. And it's been a pleasure to coach them.
Is your mindset going into a game like this different as to how you will actually coach in game during the course of the game? Would you tend to be maybe kind of trying to feel out an opponent? Or are you going to be super aggressive? Does your mindset change at all?
I call the offense. So you go into it with a plan, and then you just kind of, I'm not a guy that scripts the first 10 plays or anything like that. I don't even script the first play. I mean, I get a feel for, okay, field position, where are we at? Do I want to take a shot, first play, or do we want to be physical the first play? You usually kind of get a feel, and you just work off of that. You see how they're playing defense, what your guys are having success at, and just kind of build on that.
Coach, a big quarterfinal matchup with Morris this Friday night. What do you expect?
Yeah, it's going to be physical, and we're going to have to be disciplined, and we're going to have tremendous will. That's one of the biggest things when you get to this part of the season. Everybody's good, but who has the will to win every play? And that's what we've been stressing to our guys is just to have the will to win every play, to do your job every play. And then I think we're going to like the result.
I want to tell you it's been a pleasure following your team this year. You've been always very accessible to us. We really appreciate you taking the time to stop by. Always great meeting with you.
Yeah,
thanks so much, Coach.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Now we're joined by the outstanding linebacker, running back for VC High School, Jake Newman. Jake has slipped into the seat next to me. So glad to see you. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Any classes this afternoon when we get done here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? Well, like what? What do you got going?
I have AP Stats next, so.
Oh, man. Well, it seems almost kind of above my head. What kind of a GPA are you carrying? Because I know you're a really good student.
Right now I have a weighted 4.2 overall.
Okay. I wasn't going to ask this, but is there anything you can translate from the football field to the classroom or vice versa?
I would say as far as like discipline, if you're on time with all your assignments and everything, that kind of translates to football. You're going to be there every play and stuff like that. So, I mean, I would say that. Probably.
Okay. You've been down on the field. You guys have been practicing for about a week and a half. What's the vibe? What's the mentality of the team coming into this big game against Morris on Friday night?
We're definitely focused. I would say we're ready to go. I mean, the guys really want it this year, it feels great, especially like the locker room vibe. I mean, everyone's committed to each other and, hopefully the outcome's good.
Okay. Now, I'm going to do this for you because every time I've had a chance to talk to you, you have been lavish in your praise of the offensive line. You never talk about yourself. You always talk about the great work that those guys do up front. So Why don't you give our audience a little bit of idea of what a great job those guys have done in 2015?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wouldn't have, the numbers or games that I've had, without them. Um, you know, um, whenever I have like a great running game, I mean, literally it's because of them. I mean, I look at some of my plays that I've made, for long runs, like 80 plus or something like that. It's because the O-line has really opened up, big time. So, it's all my success is because of them.
Well,
So.
that's being very generous. I think you've had a lot to do with it as well. Last season, throughout halfway through the season, you were still playing wideout and a pretty effective one. And then for reasons I don't want to get into too long to discuss here, but you were switched over to running back. You had a huge game, your first game as a running back, starting running back, and you've just been splendid at that position ever since. What is it about running back? Why were you able to make that adjustment so quickly?
I don't know. I feel like when I had the ball in my hands, I felt really comfortable, running and stuff like that. Just like quick moves and all that. But I mean, it was just, running just is kind of natural for me. I guess it's kind of just like the natural movements and everything. So, I mean, it wasn't too hard to transition. I mean, I knew the plays already, so I mean, it wasn't too hard at all.
Okay.
So.
Well, let's talk about you as a runner. Now, when I see a guy that is very willing to pound inside, get that tough short yardage, I think you have great field vision. You can really pick your way through traffic. And then once you get to the open space, you can kick in the afterburners and show the defenders your heels. How would you categorize yourself as a runner, or what is your running style?
I would say I'm a little bit of like a quicker runner. I can use my moves and my quickness to my advantage. Because I'm obviously not, the biggest guy on the field. So, I mean, I kind of have to use that. But yeah, I mean, I would say that's kind of my biggest advantage to running.
Okay. Let's take a look at the offense. We talked a little bit about the offense with Coach Gilster, but what do you expect from this offense in this playoff game? Because you guys have been high-powered, productive. Very few teams have been able to slow you guys down. So how do you look at the offense coming into this playoff game?
I think we're looking good. I feel like we have it down. We have all our plays down and everything. We're looking solid. Rhett's throwing the ball really well. We're catching everything. So, I mean, I think we're looking solid for this game. So.
Okay. Now, we haven't talked. You're a two-way player, very effective as linebacker. In fact, that one game, I believe, against Escondido was really impressive. 2 interceptions, one that went for better than 90-plus yards. Very impressive performance. So you're an outstanding player in that position. But going into this playoff game, are you going to be going both ways? Or in all probability, are they just going to try and use you offensively because you're going to be getting an inordinate number of carries, and maybe they don't want to wear you down? So what has Coach Gilster told you about perhaps not going both ways in this game?
Yeah, Morris runs a, kind of a different offense, kind of a basic offense. So, I mean, they're definitely run-oriented, so it's definitely going to be a lot more of a pounding. But, we actually have Calvin and Aiden back for
okay.
They're kind of in my spot too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we could use them a lot more just to get a little bit more of a break. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if I'll take all the snaps, but, at defense, but we'll see how things go.
Okay. One thing's always really impressed me about you is the fact that you've got great staying power and stamina. Whether it's carrying the ball 41 times or going both ways, what do you attribute your ability to stay on the field and not wear down?
I would definitely say our Coach Duffy's workouts. They're kind of crazy. He makes us do 300-yard shuttles. That's what it's called. So it's 50 yards back and forth for 300 yards. So, I mean, and we usually do that like twice on Monday. And then it was like, I remember like last week, it was pretty hard. We did that. And then we did bear crawls for the length of the entire field, there and back. So, I mean,
wow.
His workouts are definitely insane, it's definitely a joy on Monday, but
how many do you think an old guy like me could do?
I don't know. You look like you're in pretty good shape.
Well, that's a big compliment coming from you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Now, Jake, it's one and done potentially. It's sudden death. Do you allow yourself to think about the possibility that this could be your last football game at Valley Center?
I try not to think about that too much. I'm definitely going to go out and just give it everything I have, and take that refuse to lose attitude and just go all out. So I mean, I'm looking for a positive outcome on Friday.
Okay. But as you look back on your career at VC, what will be the memories that you carry with you? What would you remember most about the experience of playing for Coach Gilster and playing for the Jags?
You know, definitely like the legacy that Valley Center has, in the past, with LCIF championships and, and all the players that have come before me. It's definitely something that I really appreciate, coming through and everything. And I'll definitely always remember, all my brothers that I get to play with on Friday night. It's truly awesome. It's truly a blessing to be able to play with them and stuff. So it's awesome.
Coach Gilster doesn't really like to talk about himself, but why don't you give our audience a little bit of an idea what kind of coach he is and has been, and your perspective on him.
Coach he's awesome. He's definitely the best coach I've ever had. But he definitely wants us to to live right above anything else. He definitely after practice he always gives us talk about morals and stuff like that. Because it's at the end of the day it's better to be good off the field than on the field. Essentially, he wants us to be good men over good football players. So. I think that's awesome that he's taught me that all 4 years since I've been in BC. So
okay, prediction time. What do you expect this coming Friday night against the Morris Tigers?
Like Coach said, I think it's going to be a really physical game. I think because they have some really big players and stuff, but I think we'll give a good run for their money, and hopefully we'll come out with a win.
Okay.
So.
Jake, listen, thank you so much for taking the time to stop by. I have really enjoyed my interaction with you throughout the season. Good luck on Friday night, my man.
Thank you.
Okay, take care.
You too.